barges approached shore, ready for instant action. The armies of the United Nations have finally made their first landing on the soil of Western Europe. Another of the great decisive battles of world history has begun. This is the day that free people have waited for. D-Day. The Atlantic Wall has been penetrated. After the first assault, the Allies clung on precariously to a few beaches. But now they are getting a foothold on the fortress of Europe. Men and equipment have poured on the beaches with every favorable tide and had to land on some with unfavorable tides. The tremendous offensive was bitterly contested. The Nazis knew that each passing hour diminished their chances of throwing the Allies back into the sea. The American, British, and Canadian troops pressed forward firmly onto the soil of France and made contact with the French people. It was no pushover, driving the Germans back. Some Allied soldiers dropped within yards of the water's edge. There were two enemies, the Germans and the heavy seas. German prisoners were taken almost at once. American and British aircraft supported the landing magnificently, preventing the Germans from marshaling reinforcements. American bombers blasted peaceful-looking forests, the hiding of Nazi tank formations and dumps of high explosives. With beaches free of enemy fire, the Allies brought the heavy equipment ashore. Lumbering bulldozers set about to clear the way for vital air landing strips. The Allied shells blasted the German defenses and many German defenders. Survivors were given quick medical attention by the medical corps. Some were grateful, but many were bewildered by the smashing Allied attack. Doughboys and Tommies pushed forward yard by yard through the fields and into the villages and small towns. And more Nazi prisoners fell into their hands. Some were still arrogant and were reluctant to raise their hands. Landing crafts carried the prisoners back to England. They are now the defeated ones, and they will be behind barbed wire. Hitler did not strike back quickly, and this allowed the Allies to take a strong hold in the first weeks following D-Day. American, Canadian, and British soldiers fought their way through the countryside and villages of Normandy. On June 26th, American forces under General Omar Bradley captured Cherbourg. 8 days later, American soldiers were in Normandy. Joined by their new French friends, they celebrated the successes of the invasion's crucial first month. The great American victory of Cherbourg was officially announced. Coordinated British activity in the southeast made possible the rapid drive into the vital deep water port by troops of the United States. Crammed into the city were the elements of 3 German divisions. They were ordered to fight to the last man, to hold their positions or be shot by their own officers. But the impetus and firepower of the Allied offensive was too much for the worn defenders. Cherbourg was at last a liberated city. Allied machines of war had to be brought ashore on the beaches. This situation was now remedied by the capture of Cherbourg Harbor. The battle-scarred landscape is the price of liberation from Nazi tyranny. A powerful punch is added to the ground strapping by the new rocket-firing Typhoons. Their deadly missiles have proven even more effective than dive bombing. The flames propel their charge at terrific speeds. The rocket itself has much greater weight and penetrating power than any shell that was ever fired by fighter planes. An automatic camera records the deadly results of the new flying artillery. A brand new kind of aerial warfare. Factories, marshalling yards, and ferries across the River Seine provide excellent targets. Mitchell bombers also attack railroad centers. The Nazis were left with few facilities to reinforce their Normandy armies. The armed might of America kept marching on. The forces created since the attack on Pearl Harbor represented a fighting machine that the Germans could not resist. Through the rubble of the battlefield, they drove their victory at Cherbourg. They have laid a battle of conquest that no army could destroy. The Allied confidence was up. They knew they had Hitler on the run. 32,000 Nazi prisoners had been taken in the Normandy campaign. The parade of beaten men was just the beginning. The gathering cavalcade of defeat for Nazi Germany.
On July 3rd, General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Invasion Commander, once more visits American troops in Normandy. With Lieutenant General Omar Bradley, United States Ground Commander, and Major Witch of the 79th Division, he tours units and division commands. Eisenhower journeys to talk with Major General Lightning Joe Collins on the outskirts of Cherbourg. Next day, shells are stacked high. At exactly noon, in observance of July 4th, America's Independence Day, every United States gun in Normandy will send a shell crashing into the enemy. General Bradley will fire one of the long toms. In the French town of Grand-Caen-les-Bains, liberated Frenchmen join in celebrating America's Day of Independence. The Stars and Stripes and the French tricolor go up side by side. Trained by their schoolmaster, the children of the village join in singing America.